as he's trying to get ready to maybe come back in May or June?
First thing, Rob, when I saw him, that looked like a different Ohtani to me. First thing was the windup. We have never seen Shohei pitch out of the windup in Major League Baseball. It's always been that stretch position, going back to his first Major League pitch. 2021, he comes back from the surgery. And then the last start before the second surgery, all from the stretch position. The one difference you see, 2023, he went to the low set with his hands, probably to give away or stop giving away any tells that hitters might pick up. You also see physically a lot stronger, right? I watch this now. You see the step back on the mound, the full windup. This is something we have not seen. Now, whether he takes it into the season, I don't know. But at this point, definitely I like it because it takes some strain off his arm, puts himself in a better rhythm. The other thing I noticed in this bullpen session, his release point had been dropping before the second arm surgery. And you saw in his bullpen the other day, he was back to his natural arm slot, getting on top of the baseball. He should be more high three-quarters than low three-quarters. And that's where he was. It's one bullpen session, hit 92 and 94, all fastballs. But if you're looking just from the viewpoint of arm health, if you're the Dodgers, man, you have to really be encouraged.
You know, the Dodgers are also very encouraged over the tutelage that I guess Mark Pryor is giving Blake Snell. And when I saw that you were prepared to talk on this, I thought, I can't wait to hear this discussion. I mean, you're going to make Blake Snell's changeup better? How is that even possible?
Yeah, first of all, it's a pretty good pitch. It is his fourth pitch, but when you say that, his other stuff is so dominant, right? Fourth pitch is still batting average against him, 238, still a high whiff rate. But Blake has been developing that pitch over the last few years by deadening the ball more. So he's creating more of a gap between his fastball and his changeup. You don't see a lot of pitchers kind of develop the changeup like he has in terms of touch to it. It's not so much movement. It's just taking off some velocity off that changeup. If you look every year for the last 4 years, guys, he's creating a bigger gap between that fastball and the changeup. And you see the whiff rate is lockstep, has gone up with that pitch. So he's a guy who's going to sit 95, 96, dropping that changeup now at 85. Wow. Two things he's working on, guys. In the strike zone more, which is what the Dodgers always preach, and that's always the key for Blake, and throwing that changeup better. And it looks like early on, signs are really good.
Man, that's a frightening thing to think about if you're another NL West opponent. Blake Snell's changeup getting better, part of a pretty good Dodger team that might win 105 games in the regular season. Tom Verducci joining us from Mets camp in the Grapefruit League. Tom, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Let's talk a little bit about the Dodgers, Ron, and do so in the context of a social media message by Jack Harris. Andrew Friedman said the Dodgers will begin the season with a five-man rotation. With Yamamoto, Sasaki, Snell, and Glass now expected to be part of that group, that'll create a competition between Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin for the number 5 spot in camp. Oh, by the way, there's Clayton Kershaw, there's Shohei Ohtani, there's Landon Knack. We could go on and on.
Bobby Miller.
There's 10 guys there that could be starting. They could parcel out half that rotation and, you know, keep them behind someplace and get every 5 days on the mound. What do you make of this excess of riches?
Well, first, I find this funny. I don't think I've ever felt like this. You said 105. Like, wow. Only 105. I mean, you feel like they could win 120 games. That's how good they are. As far as the rotation, you know this better than I know it. April, you have some off days, and there's an ability to kind of massage a 5-man rotation. I remember in the 70s and 80s, you would leave camp with 8 pitchers. You'd have 4 relievers, 4 starters, because April, you could have a 4-man rotation. So they're really massaging a 5-man rotation on 6 days. They're going to have enough rest for all those guys so that when Ohtani comes back. But you have a lot of arms in that rotation, a lot of arms that pitched once a week when they played in Japan, that you're going to have a 6-man rotation at some point. And, of course, Ohtani coming back from injury. But so much talent in every single facet of the game. You know, the things that hit me, Tanner Scott is now pitching for the Dodgers. Kirby Yates is now pitching for the Dodgers. It's amazing. I
feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, folks in the control room, I think that the over-under on their win total was 102.5. I mean, I'm saying 104, 105, only half kiddingly, because The idea that they're not going to win 2 out of every 3 games is hard to stomach. It's hard to fathom.
Right.
And then maybe going over that, it's up to 103.5.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it might be north of that at some point, which is crazy.
Man alive.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to go back to the college game when we come back after a quick break. The Desert Invitational, college baseball at its finest. We're going back to school coming up next on the Monday Stove.
Hey guys, I'm trying to get in good shape for the season just like you, working all off season towards opening day. Big burger guy though. If I go no cheese, no bun, that gonna do the trick? Any other tips?
If I ate 6 burgers, I'd probably gain 15 pounds and have to go run around the stadium 100 times.
What, are you mocking me? How am I supposed to deal with this? What am I supposed to think? All right, let's go in a different direction here. I understand you two are opening up a boutique coffee shop. What's the best part about making coffee?
I think the grind, probably.
Listen, I hear you. Big coffee guy here too, but 2, 3, sometimes 4 cups a day, that'll mess with the digestive tract.
Yeah, that's why I call time out a lot. Yeah, I got to get out and clear my mind.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I gotta go.
Keith nailing it as per usual.
Oh, he's so good.
Well, 2 future Hall of Famers. There we go.
It's nice to see them both sitting in a room together, isn't it? Hey, thanks. That was a great show.
Ronnie, good time, fun time. And you're back tomorrow with Roflo.
Yep.
Enjoy your President's Day.
See, now, I'm asking Buck questions here. Was that the heyday of Sandy Koufax, or did he already retire halfway through the Lyndon Johnson administration? Most strikeouts. All right, I'm going to go off the board. I went chalk last time with Mickey Mantle. Gaylord Perry, most strikeouts. Who do you got?
I got Mickey Lolich. Hey, don't give me that look.
Oh, as Bob Gibson was number 2, but sudden Sam McDowell. I wouldn't have gotten that. It took me a long time. Former Senator Jim Bunning is there. Juan Marichal, Jim Maloney, Bob Veal. Look at that. Yeah, Bob Gibson would have been a good call. We didn't get that.
I'm glad I didn't say Hoyt Wilhelm.
That was good. Hoyt was relieving. Otherwise, they're throwing the knuckleball. Absolutely. We have some more managerial news here. General managerial news. The Kansas City Royals agreeing to a contract extension with J.J. Picollo, their executive VP and GM. The Royals, of course, went from 56 to 86 wins last year. Very impressive job by Picollo. Extended to 2030 with a club option for, that's like the future, 2031. He was going into the last year of his contract, but the Royals are going to keep J.J. Picollo there for a good long time. All right, it is President's Day. In honor of the holiday and keeping with our top 10 tradition, we have our own presidential rankings. Presidents of baseball operations, not the other presidents. On our series top 10 right now, we devoted a segment, kind of an unofficial, subjective top 10 for general managers and team presidents. I did this segment with Christopher Mad Dog Russo. It was an interesting exercise in examining the real power players in the sport. Let's do a little digging in. So here's my thought process, all right? Start at the top. Who's number 1? And I think it's a clear number 1, at least right now, Andrew Friedman of the Dodgers. State-of-the-art free agency buying, superior roster construction, drafting and developing. And if you think he's doing that because he has a big payroll, you have to remember he was once one of the original pound-for-pound small market GMs, having led the Rays to their winning ways for 9 years. Here's the resume: 4 pennants, 2 World Series, 9 division titles in 10 years. His Dodgers are averaging, Buck, 104 wins a year over the last 8 years. That's his average. Full disclosure, Mad Dog had Friedman 7th, which I thought was inexplicable. Andrew Friedman, for me, number 1 roster architect in the game. From there, I knew this. Brian Cashman of the Yankees and Dave Dombrowski of the Phillies had to be way up toward the top. I didn't know exactly where, but the resume alone put them in the top 10, and their current excellence should have them in the top 5. Now, this is a combination of what you're doing now and what you've done in the past. Look at these resumes. Dombrowski, 5 pennants, multiple clubs, 2 World Series titles, winning with the Marlins and the Red Sox. In between, he built a powerhouse with the Tigers. That was a great team. And now with the Phillies. Brian Cashman, yeah, he has a top payroll. 22 postseason appearances in 27 years, 7 pennants, 4 World Series titles since he took over personally. It's not a done deal that the Yankees stay on top, by the way. Brian Cashman has kept them there. So I have Andrew Friedman number 1. I know I want Dombrowski and Cashman in the top 5. Not far after those 2, by the way. I know I need to get in Mike Rizzo of the Nationals. Also the excellent resume in the midst of a very good rebuild. I know Mike Rizzo has to be close by. So my next thought, is there anyone that fits right after Friedman and before I get to these Hall of Fame GMs. And in fact, yes, there is. In my opinion, Alex Anthopoulos has done a fantastic job with the Braves. He traded for that new outfield, a whole new outfield, won a World Series title, sustained success, the whole package. And Eric Neander of the Rays is the next stage Andrew Friedman. Incredible success on a bottom 5 payroll. He's actually outpaced Friedman if you compare just the Rays on their resume. So that's my top 5. Friedman, Anthopoulos, Neander, Dombrowski, Cashman. The Hall of Fame executives are there, Dombrowski and Cashman. All right, second half of the top 10 was trickier. Mike Rizzo is making it for me, but I have the younger guys with good track records close by. David Stearns, solid work with the Brewers. A.J. Preller, who just built a fantastic Padres team last year. I figure they have to make it. I wanted to find room for Mike Hazen of Arizona, Chris Antonetti of Cleveland, David Forst of Oakland. But you know what, Buck? I ran out of room. I'm talking to Buck Showalter, by the way. I ran out of room. So here's where maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Bottom 5, Rizzo, Stearns, Preller. Last 2, I was very impressed by Chris Young and his roster rebuild for the Rangers for a World Series title run. And for number 10, I do want to reward the incredible draft and developing job by Mike Elias and his team in Baltimore. They haven't had playoff success as of yet. I know Mad Dog went after me on that, but that's a burgeoning powerhouse. Bottom 5, tougher than the top 5 in a lot of ways. But there you have it, my top 10 presidents on President's Day. Whew. All right. What do you think, Buck?
You need to take a breath?
Yeah, well,
I agree with a lot of those. One thing that hits me is how many of them have continuity with the manager. The manager hasn't been there just 1 year. You look at Boone. You look at the way they've done things with Dave Roberts.
There's stability.
There's stability,
all around,
and that tells you that they have a close relationship with their managers. And they just, everybody has input. The greatest accolade you can pay somebody is go, "What's your opinion?" And they take all these opinions together, and somebody at the end goes, "Here's what we're going to do." John Hart used to do that. He'd start throwing that ring. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And when he stopped throwing the ring, he goes, "Okay, good. I listen to everybody. Here's what we're going to do."
Right. John Hart, another Hall of Fame executive. That
without a doubt.
Up there, and there's a bunch here. So, I thought it was Dombrowski and Cashman, kind of the side by side, and then Mike Rizzo was right there after. I had to get them in. Who would you like to see in the top 10? Give me somebody that you think, hey, you should have given this guy a little more.
I love what Mike Hazen's done with the Diamondbacks.
Okay,
you mentioned his name. I like.
Mad Dog got him in, by the way. He got
well, then maybe I don't.
Right. Come on. Mad got in Hazen, right? And we got in the guys from Cleveland, so I felt better about that.
I love GMs and presidents that know who they are, understand their market, understand what they can do and what they can't do, and know what type of player they need to go after. I think Piccolo has a chance to be one of those guys. I really do. But what'd be interesting if you did your bottom 5. Don't do that, please. Don't do that.
Who would you have number 1? Who would you have number 1? Give me one thing, Buck. Give me a number 1.
Number 1.
Who's your number 1 president of baseball operations?
I have to look at it.
You just did. I just did a whole essay on it.
Everyone has a pro and con there. Everybody's going to say the Dodgers, this and that, whatever. Thank you for putting it back up. Jeez.
To me it was clear, but then it was Anthopoulos.
I look at Baltimore. You draft, in the first 2 or 3 picks, but I look at your drafts 5 through 15.
No. Who would you have number 1? Who would you have number 1? Who would you have number 1, Bob?
Probably one of those 10 guys.
Excellent.
I'm not going there. This is what you do.
Very down on Buck right now. All right, we'll take a short break. See if you can say one thing.
I will.
I'm not even doing the bump now. All right, when we come back, more spring training action. If Buck's not playing ball, why should I? We'll be back after this. Oh, but wait, think baseball. Buck, how about this? One of the most RBIs during this is your favorite time of the century, the Dwight Eisenhower administration, with the most RBIs, 1953 to 1960, during General Eisenhower's administration. That's next. Think baseball. We'll be back.
皆さん、こんにちは。ついにロサンゼルス、ドジャースの2024シーズンが本格的に動き出しました。ここまでのオフシーズンの補強を振り返っても、すでにワールドシリーズ制覇を狙えるだけの戦力が整っていますが、それに加えて、キャンプの段階からポジティブなニュースが続々と届いています。まず注目したいのは、大谷翔平のブルペンセッションです。彼は現在、順調にリハビリを進めており、早ければ5月か6月に投手として復帰する可能性があると報じられています。ここで驚きだったのは、大谷がメジャーリーグで初めてワインドアップを取り入れて投球していたことです。彼はこれまで一貫してストレッチポジションから投げてきましたが、今回はステップバックしながらフルワインドアップで投球。これによりリズムが改善され、肩や肘への負担が軽減されると考えられます。また、球速も92、 94マイルを記録しており、これは復帰への大きな一歩と言えます。さらに、昨シーズン終盤にかけてリリースポイントが低くなっていた点も修正され、元の高い位置から投げられるようになりました。これにより、球の角度が改善され、より打者を抑えやすくなるでしょう。ドジャースの関係者もこの復帰プロセスを非常に楽観視しており、今後のピッチングセッションやライブ BP の内容次第では、さらに具体的な復帰スケジュールが見えてくるはずです。そして、ドジャースのもう一つの大きな話題は、ブレイク、スネルの進化です。すでにヤング賞を2度受賞したスネルですが、彼はさらに自らの投球術を磨き続けています。特に、チェンジアップの改良が注目されています。この球種はもともと彼の4番目の球種ではあるものの、被打率238、スイングミス率の高さを見ても、十分な武器になり得ることは明らかです。スネルはこの球の速度をさらに落とし、ファストボールとのギャップを広げることで、打者のタイミングを狂わせようとしています。この改良により、彼の投球はより予測しにくくなり、今シーズンはさらに安定した成績を残せる可能性が高まっています。ドジャースの投手陣を見渡しても、その豪華さに改めて驚かされます。開幕ローテーションは山本由伸、佐々木朗まで、スネル、グラスノーの4人に加え、5枠目をダスティン、メイとトニー、ゴンソリンが争う構図になっています。しかし、それだけではありません。クレイトン、カーショウの復帰、さらには大谷翔平の二刀流再開が予定されており、シーズン中盤以降にはさらに投手陣が強化されることになります。加えて、マイナーリーグから昇格が期待されるランドン、ナックなどの有望株も控えており、まさに投手王国といえる布陣です。また、今回のキャンプでは、ドジャースが今季どのような投手運用をするのかも注目されています。メジャーリーグの一般的な5人ローテーションではなく、日本プロ野球のような6人ローテーションを採用する可能性が高いと見られています。特に山本由伸や佐々木朗までのように、これまで週1回の登板間隔に慣れている投手を無理に通常のローテーションに当てはめるよりも、ある程度休養を確保しながら長期的に活躍させる方針を取ることで、シーズンを通じて安定した結果を出すことができると考えられます。ここで気になるのが、ドジャースの今季勝利予想です。現時点でのブックメーカーのオッズでは、シーズン102.5、105勝がラインとなっています。しかし、このチームの戦力を見れば、それを超える可能性は十分にあります。むしろ、今のチーム力を考えれば、120勝を狙えるレベルにあると言っても過言ではありません。これは、1970年代のシンシナティ、レッズのビッグレッドマシンや、1998年のニューヨーク、ヤンキースに匹敵するレベルの強さを持つチームであり、ナショナルリーグ西地区の他のチームにとってはまさに悪夢のような存在になるでしょう。もちろん、シーズンは長く、故障やスランプなどの不確定要素もありますが、ドジャースがワールドシリーズ優勝の最有力候補であることは間違いありません。ここまでの補強を見ても、彼らが本気で勝ちにいっていることが伝わります。そして何より、個々の選手たちがさらに進化しようとしている点が、ファンとしては最も期待が高まる部分です。これからもドジャースの最新情報を随時お届けしていきますので、ぜひチャンネル登録をお願いします。今シーズンの歴史的な瞬間を一緒に楽しんでいきましょう。ドジャースがどこまで勝ち進むと思うか、コメント欄で皆さんの予想も聞かせてください。シーズン開幕まであとわずか、期待に胸を膨らませながら、引き続き応援していきましょう。